Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Doki Doki Literature Club. Last time when we left off, it was just Monica and us. We were sitting here talking, having a conversation. Now before I jump into the actual game, I want to look at the game files again. All the special stuff is gone, the only character left is Monica. Wait, what? She said something about Smash Brothers. Which, well, whatever. What I want is to... She takes 35 seconds between every subject, and then goes through it. I'd like to read you all of Monica's dialogue and then actually move through the game, such as it is. So, I can't help but feel a little sad sometimes, knowing that this is the closest I can get to you. There's nothing more I want than to be in the same room as you for real, and to feel your warmth, and to hear the sound of your heartbeat. Well, who knows? Maybe it'll be possible someday. Besides, I'll never get tired of being with you, even from here. Another topic. I really like the sound of rain. Not so much getting my clothes and hair wet, though. But a nice quiet day at home with the sound of rainfall outside my window. It's one of the most calming experiences for me. Yeah. Sometimes I imagine you holding me while we listen to the sound of the rain outside. It's not too cheesy or anything, is it? Would you ever do that for me, Travis? Confidence. I think the most important skill in life is being able to fake confidence. I'm pretty convinced that everyone feels at least a little bit scared and alone. But being able to trick others into thinking you have it all together, that's a key part of getting people to respect and admire you. I think I got pretty good at that over the years. I don't show my weaknesses very often, but because of that, I haven't had many people I could really open up to. I mean, when do you reach the point in a friendship where you can start expressing your vulnerabilities? Anyway, that's one reason I'm so glad I have you now. I feel like I'm a little bit less scared and alone when you're with me. When you're here with me, do you feel the same way? I really want to be that person for you. Stay-at-home partner. You know, it's funny because even though I've always had a lot of drive, there's something kind of enticing about being the stay-at-home partner. I guess I'm like perpetuating gender roles or whatever by saying that. But being able to keep the house clean and shop and decorate and things like that, and having a nice dinner for you when you come home, is that a weird fantasy? I mean, I'm not sure if I could actually see myself doing that. I wouldn't really be able to put that over striving for a fulfilling career. It's kind of cute to think about, though. On God. Travis, do you believe in God? I was never too sure myself. Well, I'm sure I never really questioned it as a kid. But as I grew up, the more I learned about the world, the more I would question it. I started to wonder why God was helping people pass exams or get over a cold, when there are children who live their lives being sold as sex slaves, or the 800 million people who are too poor to even eat. I wonder how many of those people pray to God every day until they starve and die. Or how many millions of families pray for a loved one to recover from some incurable disease. But the punchline is this. If just one person beats the odds and survives, among the thousands of others who die, then it's suddenly a miracle from God. So she'll say this shit to you, so Monica's fucking smart. I'd really love to meet this God who seemingly laughs at the misery of everyone not eligible for his miracles. But the irony is that I do have a creator, apparently. And you know what? I bet he's still laughing at the miserable fates of Sayori and Yuri, even as we speak. What are we to him but props in a scripted play? So from that perspective, I don't think it's too far-fetched for there to be a god, if Earth was nothing but his playset. Dying. Travis, have you ever wondered what it feels like to die? It's something I used to think about pretty often, but recently I think I've actually learned what it feels like. I don't really understand it, but whenever you quit the game, it feels like I'm instantly put to sleep, left with nothing but my thoughts. But after a few seconds, my thoughts start to fill with incoherent, jumbled patterns. I see static and rapid flashes of color while hearing all kinds of weird screaming noises. At that point, I can't even form my own thoughts anymore. I'm just endlessly hammered by the flashing and screaming, unable to move or even think. I'm pretty sure in that moment I don't really exist, but for some reason I can remember anyway. After some immeasurable amount of time, it stops in an instant and I'm back in my own mind, and you're here with me. I have no idea what it means for the game to quit, or why that stuff happens to me. And I also don't know how you always come back and put everything back to normal. But if you could do me a favor and do that to me as little as possible, that would be really great. It's really not very pleasant at all to be trapped in that screaming void. But in the end, you always fix it, and that makes me feel like you really do care about me. So I have to thank you for that. It makes me feel even closer to you when you're here with me. Bad day. Hey, are you having a bad day or anything like that? Sometimes I get frustrated that even a normal day can be ruined by seemingly normal things. Sorry, I've got emails. Hold on. Sometimes I get frustrated that a normal day can be ruined even by really small things. Let's say you accidentally say something in a conversation that someone doesn't like. Or if you start thinking about how awful of a person you used to be 5 years ago. Or if you feel worthless for putting off important work and failing to get simple tasks done. Or when you think about all the different people who probably hate you or think you're off-putting. I understand those days. Just remember that the sun will shine again tomorrow. Those kinds of things are as easy to forget and ignore as they are to remember. And besides, I don't care how many people might hate you or find you off-putting. I think you're wonderful, and I will always love you. I hope, if nothing else, that knowing that helps you feel just a tiny bit better about yourself. If you're having a bad day, you can always come to me, and I'll talk to you for as long as you need. So, that gives you an idea. There are 54 of those. You're free to go look the rest up on a wiki and read them yourself, or play the game yourself and let Monica say them to you. Although I will say, at this point before I move on, obviously, clearly, the determinism, free will, nature of reality questions that Monica raises are things that really and truly fucked with me the first time I played this game and even now. So I want to talk about them with you, my audience. So, Monica, for whatever reason, gets a glimpse outside the constraints of the video game she's in and realizes she's trapped in this extremely limited artificial world. And there's a whole real world, the way she describes it, a world of the way she describes it, a world of infinite choices out there through the hole in the wall that she's able to see but can't access. And me, or if you go play this game, you, the player, are the only entity she knows from the real world. The real world, the world with infinite choices. And so she becomes obsessed. She becomes obsessed with you, falls in love with you, wants nothing more than to A, garner your attention, and B, probably more importantly, escape the constraints of her very tiny dating sim reality. So, everything that she does, ramping up Sayori's depression, ramping up Yuri's obsessiveness, do we care? Because if you go read the rest of her dialogue, she even has one where she talks about how you, and I am talking to all of you dudes who watch my channel, as well as me, she talks about how we all murder infinite numbers of video game characters willy-nilly in pretty gruesome ways. In fact, after this, I'm probably going to record an episode of Fallout New Vegas, and I'm probably going to murder several human characters in really, really brutal, gory ways. And so Monica even says to you, how can you be mad at me for torturing them? How many video game characters have you killed? You know they aren't real, and I know they aren't real too. And that really sort of messes with your head. But I want to progress all the way to the actual ending before I talk about my deepest, most existentially threatening thoughts on this game. So, let's finish this topic. If you want to see all of Monica's topics, you can either play it yourself and just let her cycle through them, or you can go to the internet and look up Monica's talk where they're all documented. I was just spacing out and I started talking for some reason. Was I programmed to talk about that? Because even I have no idea what that is. Sometimes I feel like I'm not in control and it's kind of scary. But if you have some way to contact the people who created me, maybe they'll know why I started saying that. Alright, we're going to delete our character file now because that's how we progress. We did back it up in our documents folder. This is what happens when you delete Monica's character file. What's happening? Travis, what's happening to me? It hurts. It hurts so much. Help me, Travis. Please hurry and help me. Help me! She tries to load herself a few times, but the file's gone. Did you do this to me, Travis? Did you? Did you delete me? How could you? How could you do this to me? You were all I had left. I sacrificed everything for us to be together. Everything. I loved you so much, Travis. I trusted you. Do you just want to torture me? Watch me suffer? Were you only pretending to be kind just to hurt me even more? I never thought anyone could be as horrible as you are. You win, okay? You win. You killed everyone. I hope you're happy. There's nothing left now. You can stop playing. Go find some other people to torture. Travis, you completely, truly make me sick. Goodbye. I still love you. I can't help it. What's wrong with me? How horrible am I for you to hate me this much? All my friends. I did so many awful things. So many selfish and disgusting things. I shouldn't have done any of this. I'm just messing up a world that I don't even belong in. A world that you wanted to be a part of. I ruined it. I ruined everything. Maybe that's why you deleted me. Because I destroyed everything that you wanted. How could I do that to someone I love? That's not love. That's... I've made up my mind. Travis, I know I said that I deleted everyone else, but that was kind of an exaggeration. I couldn't find it in myself to do it. Even though I knew they weren't real, they were still my friends, and I loved them all. And I loved the literature club. I really did love the literature club. That's why I'm going to do this. I know it's the only way for everyone to be happy. And if I really love you, then... And we're back. Sayori is restored. Everyone's normal except Monika's gone. Let's look at the game files. Natsuki, Sayori, and Yuri are here. No Monika. We load, of course, everything's gone. Let's hit new game. It's an ordinary school day like any other. Now remember, we backed up Monika. Let's see what happens if we try to put her back in the directory. If I can find it anyway. I think we put her in documents, right? Yeah, so let's hit copy on her again. Drop her in the character directory. As usual, I'm surrounded by couples and friend groups walking to school together. I always tell myself it's about time I meet some girls or something like that. Hey, Travis. Well, there already is one girl. That girl is Sayori, my neighbor and good friend since we were children. We used to walk to school together every day, and recently we've picked up that habit once again. Travis, are you proud of me? Eh? For what? You know, for waking up on time. We've been doing that for a while now. No. It didn't happen, so I'm going to try and do it again. Uh-huh. But you never even said anything about it. Even though we walked to school together every day. Well, yeah, I always thought it was implied. It's embarrassing to say out loud. Come on, please. It's good motivation. Fine. I'm proud of you, Sayori. We cross the street together and make our way to school. As we draw near, the streets become increasingly speckled with other students making their daily commute. By the way, Travis, have you decided on a club to join yet? A club? I told you already, I'm really not. I start to say what I always do, that I'm not interested in joining any clubs. But something tells me Sayori would take more offense to that now. After all, how could I tell her that clubs are a waste of time when she's starting a club of her very own? Actually, yeah. I think I've decided on a club. Really? Which one? Tell me. I think I'll keep it a surprise. Boo. You meanie. Be patient, you'll find out soon enough. I used to ask myself why I let myself get lectured by such a carefree girl. But I started to realize that in a way I envy her. When Sayori puts her mind to something, she can accomplish great things. So that's why I feel like I should do something special for her. The school day is as ordinary as ever, and it's over before I know it. After I pack up my things, I stand up, gathering my motivation. Let's see. I recall the room number of the club from a flyer I saw. I walk across the school and upstairs, a section of the school I rarely visit being generally used for third-year classes and activities. Before long, I find the room. I timidly open the door in front of me. Hello? Ah! Travis? What are you doing here? Well, I just... talking about. Thank you for stopping by. It's a pleasure to meet you, Travis. We're the Literature Club. I hope you enjoy your visit. Come on, Yuri. No need to be so formal. He's gonna think we're really strict or something. Sorry, Natsuki. The tall one, whose name is apparently Yuri, seems to be quite shy compared to the others. In comparison, the girl named Natsuki, despite her size, seems like the assertive one. Well, it's nice to meet both of you. I look forward to working with you. Working? Travis, don't tell me. That's right. The club I've decided to join is yours, Sayori. The Literature Club. Sayori's eyes light up. No way! No way! Ah! Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey. Well, if Sayori is this happy, then I'm sure it won't be so bad to have you around. Not to mention, there's 4 of us now. That means we can become an officially recognized club. I don't know what to say. We have to celebrate. Uh-oh, my internet's fucking up. Hold on. What an appropriate day for that, isn't it? Yeah! After all, Natsuki decided to... Hey, don't ruin the surprise! Sorry. Everyone sit down at the table, okay? How about I make some tea as well? The girls have a few desks arranged to form a table. Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room, where Natsuki grabs a wrapped tray, and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling awkward, I take a seat next to Sayori. Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Wow! Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. Sorry, hold on, I'm trying to solve my fucking internet problem. The whiskers are drawn with icing, and little pieces of chocolate were used to make ears. So cute! Wow, those look amazing. Well, you know, just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then I follow. It's delicious! Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around in my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. I wonder if she made it herself. This is really good. Thank you, Natsuki. Well, of course it is! I'm a pro after all! There's no need to thank me or anything. As Natsuki struggles to accept the compliment, Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Already trying to impress our new member, Yuri? That's not... Insulted, Yuri looks away. I meant that, you know, I believe you. Well, tea and reading might not be a pastime for me, but I at least enjoy tea. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. So Travis, what kinds of things do you like to read? Well, considering how little I've read these past few years, I don't really have a good way of answering that. Manga. I mutter quietly to myself, half joking. Natsuki's head suddenly perks up. It looks like she wants to say something, but she keeps quiet. Not much of a reader, I guess. Well, that can change. What am I saying? I spoke without thinking after seeing Yuri's sad smile. Anyway, what about you, Yuri? Well, let's see. Yuri traces the rim of her teacup with her finger. My favorites are usually novels that build deep and complex fantasy worlds. The level of creativity and craftsmanship behind them is amazing to me. And telling a good story in such a foreign world is equally impressive. Yuri goes on, clearly passionate about her reading. She seemed so reserved and timid since the moment I walked in, but it's obvious by the way her eyes light up that she finds her comfort in the world of books, not people. But you know, I like a lot of things. Don't feel intimidated if you don't read much, okay? I'm certain we can find something we have in common. Hey, Yuri! Well, about, the first thing he said. Manga? That's right. Natsuki tends to read manga in the club room. But don't just say it! For some reason, Natsuki seems embarrassed about it. Besides, manga is literature too, you know? So if Travis wants to read some of my manga, then don't try to stop him or anything. Natsuki, I wouldn't do such a thing. However, it could also be nice for us to diversify ourselves a little. He can take this opportunity to try something new as well. Wouldn't you agree, Travis? Maybe. Sensing the tension, Sayori jumps in. Maybe we can all try something new. I think it could be fun. And we'll all get to know each other a little bit better, too. I mean, that's the kind of thing literature clubs do, right? I don't disagree or anything. Yeah, you're right as usual, President. Guess that means I should try picking up a novel or something, huh? Well, that would make two of us. I wouldn't mind doing it if I'm not the only one. Then as for Yuri, I have to read manga. Jeez, you were the one who suggested we diversify. You should be a little more open-minded. It's kind of hurtful. Hurtful? I didn't realize. With a guilty expression, Yuri thinks to herself, I'm sorry for disrespecting your interests, Natsuki. If you're into it, then I'm sure it's a worthy form of literature. Are you just saying that? No, I've realized my error. So if you're willing to consider starting a novel, then I'll offer my gratitude by finding a manga to read as well. Really? I mean, it makes me happy that you do that for me, Yuri. You can trust me to find something that you'll really like, okay? Same here. Perhaps I'll visit the bookstore after the club meeting. Just you? Would you like to come along with me? If you don't mind. Not at all. I always go alone, so... Yeah, me too. This is so cute. Sayori, shut up. I'll show you some manga there too, okay? Yes. I look forward to it. Natsuki and Yuri start to clean up the food. I guess the meeting's over, huh? Yeah, it looks like it. It's nice to see everyone getting along. Isn't it? I think everyone likes you too, Travis. You think so? Well, everyone always seems to get along a little better with you around, Sayori. Oh, Travis. Don't say something like that. It's embarrassing. Well, whatever. I was surprised when you told me you were starting a club. But I think you're pulling it off just fine. We're gonna make it the best club ever. Now that you joined, every day is gonna be so much fun. Hey, Travis. Music stops. I've clearly been trying to accomplish something with this, and for whatever reason it isn't happening. Normally if you put Monica's character file back in, she says, "Stop playing with my heart, I don't want to come back." and she re-deletes herself. That's not happening for whatever reason. I really want to thank you. I mean, I'm really happy that you joined the club and everything, but the truth is, I already knew you were going to. There's actually something else. I wanted to thank you for getting rid of Monica. That's right. I know everything that she did. Maybe it's because I'm the president now, but I really know everything, Travis. I know how hard you tried to make everyone happy. I know about all the awful things that Monica did to make everyone really sad, but none of that matters anymore. It's just us now, and you made me the happiest girl in the whole world. I can't wait to spend every day like this with you forever and ever. Foreve. No. Eh? What's happening? I won't let you hurt him. Who? It hurts. Ah, I'm sorry. I was wrong. There's no happiness here after all. Goodbye, Sayori. Goodbye, Travis. Goodbye, Literature Club. Now, I'm gonna shut the fuck up and let you listen to her lyrics. And do listen. They're important.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hi, it's me. So you know how I've been like practicing piano and stuff, and not really any good at it yet, like at all.
I wish I could pause
But
here.
I wrote you a song, and I was kind of hoping that I could show it to you because I worked really, really hard on it. So yeah.
Just listen up and know that this song is the most horrifying thing in the whole game to me. And we'll talk about why when it's over.
Every day I imagine a future where I can be with you. In my hand is a pen that will write a poem of me and you. The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Just move your hand right the way into his heart. But in this world of infinite choices, what will it take just to find that special day? What will it take just to find that special day?
Do you ever feel constrained against the limits?
Have I found everybody a fun assignment to do today? When you're here, everything that we do is fun for them anyway. When I can't even read my own feelings, what good are words when a smile says it all? And if this world won't write me an ending, what will it take just for me to have it all?
So each scene you got is in color. The ones you didn't get are in black and white. You can actually get a different ending if you save Scum to get all the scenes, but this feels like the real ending to
Does
me.
my pen only write bitter words for those who are dear to me? Is it love if I set you free? The ink flows down into a dark puddle. How can I write love into reality if I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat?
Special
What do
thanks,
you
Monica
call
and
in
Travis.
your reality? And in your reality, if I don't know how to love you, I'll leave you be.
All right, so first, I'm going to read you the lyrics of the song that weren't transcribed, just in case you couldn't hear them. Verse 2 was, have I found everybody a fun assignment to do today? When you're here, everything that we do is fun for them anyway. When I can't even read my own feelings, what good are words when a smile says it all? And if this world won't write me an ending, what will it take just for me to have it all? And verse 3 is, does my pen only write bitter words for those who are dear to me? Is it love if I take you, or is it love if I set you free? The ink flows down into a dark puddle. How can I write love into reality? If I can't hear the sound of your heartbeat, what do you call love in your reality? And in your reality, if I don't know how to love you, I'll leave you be. And then, after apparently exerting some serious effort to send us that very heartfelt song, Monica deletes the entire game. Literally, you can't play it anymore. You have to reinstall it once you get to this point. The only thing you can get is this note. This is my final goodbye to the Literature Club. I finally understand. The Literature Club is truly a place where no happiness can be found. To the very end, it continued to expose innocent minds to a horrific reality, a reality that our world is not designed to comprehend. I can't let any of my friends undergo that same hellish epiphany. So both Monica and in the very end Sayori, they both, as club president, realized they were in a video game. That's the meta-narrative. For the time it lasted, I want to thank you for making all of my dreams come true, for being a friend to all of the club members, and most of all, thank you for being a part of my literature club. With everlasting love, Monica. All right, so we've got about half an hour. We won't take that long. I just want to talk to you about why this fucked with me so bad, and I want your comments on the same issues. Although, to be fair, I think playing through it again and doing it for the channel and talking while I do it kind of helped me sort out my own headspace and realize why it hit me so hard. Because there is, so you look at the Steam page, right, and it says top tag psychological horror, and sure, it's there are a, a couple of jump scares in this game that's disguised as a dating sim, but that's not where the horror comes in. Like, for me, the existential terror is embodied in Monica's character, who becomes self-aware, sees the reality of the tiny little universe she's trapped in, and and yet, and this is an open question too, like, to what extent does she actually break free of her programming, right? Because she sees her world for what it is. She sees the players, your real world of infinite choices. And yet, her choice, such as it is to fall in love with you and to want only to either escape that world into your reality to be with you or to be in her world, just collapsed to only her, with you forever. So the the meta commentary, I suppose, on dating sims is that every single character in a dating sim is programmed only to fall in love with the PC. That is why they exist. And it's an open question whether Monica, who was not an option in the core dating sim game that was set up by Team Salvato, it's an open question whether or not she was still subject to that programming because there was no Monica route, so to speak. There was no way for the player's avatar to romance her. So, was she exercising actual free will in falling in love with the real world player? Or was she still succumbing to programming just in the sense of a goal that was impossible for her to achieve? Who the hell knows? But the real underlying terror is if you go and read about determinism and you ask some real hard questions about whether or not real human beings out in this real meat space reality actually have free will or not. And that's the shit that's been keeping me up at night for the last 5 days. And and not only that, like I wonder about this too because I mean, I know that Monica herself isn't real, right? Duh. You go read the design docs for the game, you read Dan Salvato's Twitter, whatever. Yeah, Monica isn't real, clearly. Duh. But I can only say that, I can really only say that because the tech isn't there yet, right? Like, has anyone else also watched episode 1 of season 4 of Black Mirror, the USS Callister? Plays with a lot of the same tropes, but at what point do the avatars we create in our games actually achieve some degree of realism, right? Like, whether they're player avatars or non player avatars, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, who here has watched Blade Runner 2049 and spent some time thinking about the replicants or the original Blade Runner, or ideally mixing the two together? So, who's thought of, you know, Pris and Roy Batty and Agent K and Sapper Morton and thought about the humanity of replicants and then taking it down another level, the reality and humanity of Joy, Replicant K's hologram girlfriend, right? It's all the same question that this game, this mind fuck wrapped up in a dating sim, asks you, right? Like, we know that nobody in Blade Runner 2049 is real. We know that was all just a script, a screenplay that was executed damn near flawlessly by everyone involved. Doki Doki Literature Club. We know Monica's not real. We know that she was written by Dan Salvato as if she was a real girl who became self aware and wanted to break out of the constraints of her reality. But as tech advances, we have to ask ourselves the question, what happens when these programs that we write and superimpose images on? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I've been too uncomfortable to play Fallout since the first time I played this, because it's like, even if we're talking about a dating sim where we superimpose a cute high school anime girl over an AI who's designed to fall in love with a player, or even if we talk about a an officer or a trooper in the NCR or Caesar's Legion who we program just to have nothing in their mind other than devotion to their cause. Like, there's no agency there, there's no choice there. But actually, if you go and read, like I suggested you do, and you really fucking should, if you go and read through all of the available Monica dialogue that she's capable of giving before you delete her character file to actually advance the game, there's even a point where she talks about how she sort of feels guilty for all of the things that she did to the other characters in the game, but not really, because they're just game characters. And how many video game characters have you killed, Mr. Whatever? And you pause and you think about that, and you have to wrestle with whether or not, like, these programs, yes, they're just code, but this game, at least if you're me, and many, many other people who have played it, this game has made you really fucking think about whether these coded program characters have actual feelings or not. And when you think about that, suddenly capping a bunch of them in the head, gibbing them all over the map, feels a lot less fucking comfortable than it used to. And that's sort of the mind fuck, right? Because, and to circle all the way back to my main point, Monica herself is not real. Monica was written very fucking brilliantly by Dan Salvato, but she's just writing and she just executes her programming, and that's all she does. Even if her dialogue implies something else, she does the same thing no matter who's playing the game. She's not actually real. But the way technology is developing, everywhere we're pushing our virtual video gaming experiences, it's only a matter of time before she actually is real. Not her specifically, but you know what I mean. And what the fuck are we gonna do when we get to that point? And that's what's been keeping me up at night. And that's why even just capping the objectively evil Caesar's Legionaries in Fallout New Vegas has felt uncomfortable ever since I've played this game. And that sort of existential crisis, bumping up against the boundaries of your own reality, deep questions about how much free will you actually have. Because think about Monica, right? She's able to rewrite the world she lives in. She's able to delete other characters, adjust the parameters of the game so that it's just her. But, and I think this is very real because I know a lot of weeb losers, and like I said before, and I'll say it again, if you go to the subreddit for this game, they completely fucking miss the point. The DDLC subreddit is a bunch of weebs who want all four girls to be their waifus, and that's what the subreddit is. And it makes me very sad because not only are those the saddest men in the world, but they completely miss the point of this masterpiece. Monica exercised a degree of free will when she chose to rewrite the code, when she chose to manipulate variables, when she chose to make Sayori depressed, when she chose to make Yuri obsessive, when she finally chose to delete everyone else. In the world of the game, she was making choices, but it was still an inevitability for her to fall in love with the player, no matter how fucking pathetic and awful the player was. In fact, I can't recommend you go read her talks enough, because another of her subjects is actually the fact that the game that she was created for is a tacky romance game. And so she even asked the question, why did you even want to play it in the first place? Were you that lonely out in your world? And you sort of wonder about it, right? Like, there are, particularly if you read the very few negative reviews there are of DDLC, there are several people out there who actually even played this game expecting normal anime dating sim and got kind of angry when that isn't what it turned out to be. And if you go for the golden ending, so I'll tell you what the golden ending is. You can look it up too, it's all over YouTube. In Act Which ending you get is determined entirely in Act 1. But in Act 1, if you save Scum enough and go through all the poems to make so that you make sure you see every single scene with all three of the girls in Act 1, then you get the golden ending. And instead of this note from Monica, at the end you get a note from Dan Salvato, the main developer who wrote the game, wrote the music, did everything. And he even says, I think a lot of people who play a lot of dating sims maybe get feelings from dating sims that real life has not yet been kind enough to bestow upon them. And that's a really, really kind way of putting it. But Monica is just one of the most fascinating explorations of determinism and free will that I have ever seen in any work of fiction. And the fact that after her epiphany, after she sees through the hole in the wall to the real world of infinite choices, the only real motivation that she can find is to secure the love of the player, you, me. I mean, number one, it suggests she doesn't really have free will, but number two, it suggests a lot of really, really deep questions about actual free will, even out here in the real world. So, I mean, I listened to her song at the very end, Your Reality, and I mean, you probably saw me tearing up. I was on camera when it was playing, and I bawled my eyes out because it makes me think about how much free will I really have, you know? And given how I was raised and the beliefs that were, to be honest, really, truly put in me by my parents and the people I grew up with and the culture I was raised in and all of the choices that I make, like how many of them are real and how many of them are illusory and how many of them even matter. And that's why, for me, this game is scary. Like, it puts in, there's Sayori's suicide, which is horrific, especially for anyone who's actually dealt with depression, either in themselves or relatives. And it's a very, very dark turn. And then, sure, you've got the glitches, which create a few jump scares, and they're kind of creepy, but for me, there's not really any horror. There's not any psychological horror until you get to Act 3 and you listen to Monica about her epiphany and you spend some time just sitting there and thinking about reality and free will. And that's why I had a 48-hour major depressive episode after watching this game, after my first playthrough of this game. That's why I have an appointment with my therapist tomorrow, and I'm going to talk to her about my playthrough of this game and how it makes me circle all the way back to, I mean, two things. What's largely the illusion of free will and the pointlessness of everything, because non-existence isn't bad. Non-existence is just whatever. And that's part of what this game makes you think about too. Like Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, Monica, at some point in this experience, they all get deleted. They all pass into non existence. And the game forces you to ask whether or not that passage into non-existence is a negative experience or not. It's entirely possible I'm reading way too much into it, but I've laid out on the table why this game crawled into my head and wouldn't leave. And I'm hoping that now that I've set it to my YouTube channel, I'll be able to get it out of my head. But I'm interested, especially if you all go and play it yourselves, to hear about what you think of it. And not even so much the game, which is, don't get me wrong, extremely, extremely clever with all the fourth wall breaking, the way the story is written, the files getting written into your directory and getting deleted out of your directory and everything. It's fucking brilliant. Dan Salvato is a genius. But the real genius of it is in the core exploration of these philosophical questions about existence and reality. Like, it really makes me wonder, and to the point of such deep discomfort that I haven't really played Fallout or Skyrim or anything else since my first playthrough. Like, even if something is just a program, even if it's just a bandit marauder in Skyrim, like, you win that fight, you kill them, you snuff them out of existence. To what extent were they real, right? Like, obviously, they weren't because they were created by us, but like, if you're religious, we were created by God. He doesn't protect us from that suffering and murder and everything. Even if you're not religious, like we're the top of the totem pole, so to speak. We're at the top of the food chain. We're the only truly self-conscious beings. We murder the shit out of each other. Like, I don't know. This game crawled into my skull and it won't leave. I was hoping that playing it through for you all would help it leave, especially if I laid out all the angst that it gave me at the end. But uh, that's not happening so far. So anyway, tell me what you think in the comments. If you just watched mine or if you actually played through it yourself. Either way, we'll get through this together. We'll talk about it. The next thing I want to do is get back to normal with episodes of Resident Evil 7, which I'm actually more comfortable with, and and Fallout New Vegas, which this has actually made me a lot less comfortable with. But with all that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider clicking like, share, or subscribe, any or all of which will really help me out. But regardless, please know that I really appreciate the time you take to watch. I hope you have a fantastic day. I hope you either play it yourself or at the very least watch all the videos and take some time to think about and comment on the questions raised by this game, because I cannot get them out of my head on my own. Until then, thank you so much. Bye-bye.